In this video, we'll be examining conservative sensation Ben Shapiro. We'll go into the psychology behind some of his arguments and evaluate the strength of some of his arguments.
To take crap from you for their own personal betterment, right? That's what leftism is. Socialism is the most selfish philosophy in human history. It's the basic notion that I'm breathing and therefore you owe me crap. Okay, but the way they sleep at night, because they're not adding anything to the general productivity with this philosophy, is, but yes, I'm a better person than you. So your job is to rip away that facade, because they're...
So first off, let's get a little bit of background knowledge on Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is no doubt intelligent. He graduated high school when he was 16 years old, went to UCLA, wrote a book claiming that universities liberally indoctrinated students when he was 17. He graduated from UCLA, went to Harvard Law, graduated from Harvard Law when he was 23 years old. And so when Shapiro wrote his book when he was 17, he was publicly taking a stance against universities, saying that they indoctrinated students. And so we need to understand that psychology teaches us that when an individual proclaims something publicly, that they're less likely to go back on it. So do we think that Ben Shapiro is ever going to be more moderate on some of his stances, or that he's going to ever retreat or go back from some of his arguments? It's not likely, because he's already declared these things publicly and he's made a fortune off it. He's made a lot of money from the books that he's sold. He's going on speaking tours across the nation. He's made himself a public figure by buckling down on these issues. And so let's examine some of his arguments now and analyze how valid they are.
Environmentalism is a luxury of the rich. That's the truth. When you're in China, when you're in the third world, you don't give a damn. When you're in the third world, all you want to make sure of is that your kid doesn't die tonight. And if that means that you're lighting cow chips on fire, which is what they actually do for warmth in huge swaths of the world, and that causes significant emissions, significant carbon emissions, then you'll do it. Because, hey, if it's my kid or the temperature rises by 0.0000000000000000000.
And so here we see Ben Shapiro. He's really caring about the poor. That's his main reason of why he doesn't want to focus on climate legislation. It's because it's going to affect the poor negatively. And then let's see if this continues to be his message.
Right, which let's say all of that happens. You think that people aren't going to just sell their homes and move? It's not like it's all going to happen at once. Like, there's just a big tsunami that comes and wipes out everybody. So human beings have a way of adjusting. Human beings have a way of dealing with these things. And I have more faith in human beings to deal with the crucial move from Santa Monica to the San Fernando Valley than I do in okay, we're all going to stop using our cars, burning coal, and using electricity. That seems to me a much worse solution than, okay, I'm going to have to sell my beachfront property at a discount price. By the way, that's who it's going to hit, the people with beachfront property. It's not going to hit anybody in Indiana.
And so you see right there, Shapiro changes his message. At first he was concerned about the people in the third world. And then he changes his message to say, well, global warming, it's really just going to affect people with beachfront properties. He's ignoring all the people in the third world that live along coast that he seems so concerned about initially. He says, oh, it's not going to be so bad. The richest people are just going to have to sell their beachfront property. People in the third world, people in developing countries, they don't have those luxuries. A lot of them aren't going to be able to just get up and move. And besides, he omits the fact that this migration is going to be difficult for the places that are receiving all the people that are coming in. Shapiro fails to mention that we could stop subsidizing oil and then take that money to subsidize electric vehicles and more solar. He fails to mention these things because it isn't what his audience likes to hear. Fails to mention that some developing countries are already seeing flooding, and many scientists claim that this comes from climate change. So Ben Shapiro, he does bring up good points at times, but we need to recognize that he's not going to be objective when it affects his profits, when it affects his fame. He has a very niche audience, and if he says things that his audience doesn't like, it's not going to help him move forward. It's not going to help him increase his wealth, increase his fame. Goes back to Upton Sinclair's quote, "It's hard to get a man to understand something when his salary depends on him not understanding that thing." Ben Shapiro is not going to be objective. Ben Shapiro is going to say what appeals to his audience. The same way that people like the Koch brothers, we can't expect the think tanks that they fund, like Cato Institute, to be objective about climate change. because it's going to affect their profits. This is a lesson from psychology. We cannot expect people to be impartial. We cannot expect people to not be biased if their profits are going to be negatively affected. It's rare for a person to step back and really analyze their choices and analyze the things that they believe in and say, is this what is good for the majority of people? No, if it benefits them, they don't let their minds go there. They avoid the cognitive dissonance altogether. And so while Ben Shapiro has a big crowd, and while he does bring up good points on many issues, we should be wary of him. We should understand that the things that he's saying are mainly for his own gain. Do we think that he really cares about what's best for us as a country or as a society or as a world? This goes for a lot of people, for politicians, for wealthy people. All of us are going to justify what's in our best interest, whatever is going to help us accumulate the most resources, because that's what helped our ancestors survive. At the same time, I highly value free speech. It's given to us in the Constitution. I don't think that when university students are protesting Ben Shapiro speaking events, when they're breaking things, when they're demanding that he's not allowed to speak, it doesn't do anyone any favors. It discredits Democrats and people on the left across the country. It discredits young people across the country. If his arguments aren't that strong, we shouldn't fear them. We should be able to intellectually pick them apart. We should be able to intellectually explain flaws in them. But it fuels fire to their talking points, to Ben Shapiro's talking points, to other commentators on the right. It confirms their point that the people on the left are being coddled, that we can't handle ideas that go against our own. And so we should not try to shut down his speaking events.